Hi, welcome to the teamwork lecture. This is more than likely going to have 3 parts to it. The first one we'll talk about will be an introduction to teamwork. The second one will be focusing on communication behaviors, and there will be a short assignment you'll have associated with that. And part 3, we'll talk about best practices for teamwork and go over the teamwork agreement, which you've already seen on PolyLearn. So let's get started. Our learning objectives will be to talk about the differences between good and poor communication. We'll focus on that mostly in communication behaviors. We'll describe various norms for teams, and that will be in the third video, along with the third bullet explain several techniques that will improve the function of the team. So to help your team function effectively, not only for this class, but for future classes and in the working world as well. So communication is all about both listening and speaking. And remember, communication is not only verbal, but there's also body language, there's also tone associated with it. And so, as the slide reads here, practicing good communication skills and refraining from communication roadblocks, which we'll talk about, I believe, in part 2. Equals engaging in dialogue, so people are comfortable talking with each other and sharing their ideas. Building trust, which is a very important part of teamwork. If you don't trust your team members, then it's unlikely that you're going to be willing to take risks to share new ideas or to challenge in a constructive manner what someone else has said as to what the next step should be, what the data analysis is really telling you, what your recommendation should be. And then lastly, you want to be productive, which if you do all the things of above, then you'll be able to be productive. So when you get into the work world today, in classes, you guys are all here on campus, and so you get to meet face to face with your team. But several of the projects I worked on in industry, we had 4 physical locations: Irvine, California, Newbury Park, California, Mexicali, Mexico, and Woburn, Massachusetts, which is just outside of Massachusetts. And so we couldn't always have, and most of the time we had team members participating from all 4 of those locations. And so most of the time we couldn't be in the same physical place. And so we had to have virtual team meetings. That would be via WebEx or GoToMeeting, or in your world today, Skype. You guys probably are a lot more comfortable with it because it's been a part of your everyday life. But it's it can add an extra layer of difficulty in building trust when you are communicating virtually like that. And so one of the things that we would always do is we would have a kickoff where we got everyone physically in the same place so that we could meet face to face, build some relationship, do some team building or some bonding, which is one of the things you have to do for your teamwork assignment. And bonding doesn't mean that you're doing work. It means that you're out doing something fun, something social. We would take the team, in one of the projects we went to Dave & Buster's, which is basically a Chuck E. Cheese for adults, and played pool, played video games, ate, played darts, those kinds of things, so that we could build a rapport with our teammates so that when the times got a little tough, we already had an established relationship that it was easier to work through those difficult times. So building trust is really an important thing of teamwork, and especially is a characteristic of high-functioning teams, one that are very productive, ends up with good results, etc. All right, so to communicate well, as I've kind of alluded to already, you need to listen, you need to observe not only others' behaviors, body language, tone, facial expression, but also yourself as well, so that you are communicating as constructively and as positively as possible. And a very important part of teamwork is giving feedback constructively. So not everyone is going to have the right answer, not everyone is going to be performing at peak all the time, and so you would want to give feedback constructively on how to motivate and engage team members. And so what I'd like you to remember with this is kind of the motto, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Sorry, keep current color scheme. And so when you are getting feedback, how would you like to receive it? Would you like to receive it in front of the whole group? When it's constructive feedback, something you need to improve or do better? More than likely not, right? So constructive feedback, when it's praise, it's great to give it in front of the whole team because that's awesome. You're praising someone, acknowledging work well done. But when you're making some corrective feedback, constructive corrective feedback, then more than likely that should be done in a one-on-one basis. Is that better done by email or text or face-to-face? Face-to-face is the answer, in case you didn't know that, because again, you miss out when you're on email or text. You miss out on body language, facial expression, and the tone may come across unfavorable in emails too. And so you need to be alert, aware of the tone in which you're delivering the feedback constructively too. You're trying to make improvements, help the person improve and do better for this team and for going forward. And then be reflective of yourself too. You know, give yourself some constructive feedback every so often if no one else is giving it to you as well. All right? Because nobody's perfect. There's always room for improvement. So that ends our introduction, and I'll have the next video we'll start talking about communication behaviors. So remember, you need to build trust to have a highly effective team, and there's many other things too, but trust is really a very strong foundation. And there are a variety of ways to do that: the bonding exercise, communicating well, listening to others, giving feedback constructively, and moving forward from there. All right, we'll see you in the next, hear me in the next video. Thanks.